get this party on the road. So I'm going to start us off with a prayer, and I'm placing my hands on my heart, taking in that deep breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this time to come together to rest in our heart space. Grateful for our willingness, excuse me, to be the two or more gathered in the name and the nature of love. We're grateful to call on all of our earthly and heavenly helpers to surround and support us, to assist us with ease and grace, to bring us to the light. And we're grateful to be able to shine that light from our hearts into the world and allow that love to ripple out and to witness it with great joy. In love and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. Alrighty, so we're in chapter 22, section 5, weakness and defensiveness. And I think I'm going to start us off with the end. I'm starting at the end, so there. In paragraph 6, a little more than halfway through, where he says, not one that truth cannot pass over lightly and so easily that you must be convinced, in spite of what you thought it was, that it is nothing. If you forgive each other, this must happen. For it is your unwillingness to overlook what seems to stand between you that makes it look impenetrable and defends the illusion of its immovability. And I thought, sometimes when we're in that space where we're on the downward part of the spiral and it feels like we're stuck, that's really what's going on, is we're feeling separate and different from our brothers and sisters, from even from ourselves, from a different perspective of where we've been in the past or where we imagine that we're going, that we're just separate, and it's just not true. So I was grateful to read that. So that's where I'm starting us off. Who else would like to share today? Go ahead. There you are.
Is that me? I didn't hear a name. So
Oh yeah, Carla, sorry.
so just kind of relating to what you said is that I just posted, it's really interesting. I just within 6 minutes ago, I just posted this in my Instagram. Your feelings, the feelings you believe is you, determine your experience of life. And that's what I'm hearing from what you say, is that we believe what we feel. But what if it's just something coming up for healing? What if it's something arising and we let go of? We believe stuff is ours, like thoughts. Okay, sorry. Thoughts. Here's another one. So I know thoughts are just offered to us, like spirit guidance, whatever you want to call it. They just offered. It's just a thought offered to us. we take it or not, and there's plenty of times in my life where I didn't follow, but I felt it afterwards when I doesn't work out, or I judge myself or whatever. So, and this is the other thing I posted 11 minutes ago. The attraction of thought is very alluring, powerful, and often automatic, especially when we believe it is us. Look at the thoughts. They're only offered to us. We accept them by believing they're us. After, if you start looking at, you realize stuff comes up. Stuff, some of the craziest stuff. I'm like, what? It's doesn't even seem, but all thought is shared. So someone somewhere maybe believe in it, and that makes it more powerful because we're using our divine birthright, our God essence, our connection with God, or whatever, because God doesn't say, oh no, you don't want to think that. No, God allows us everything we want, we desire, because everything has been given to us, and then we choose what that is. So feelings seem so powerful, but I noticed, I just look at them. Oh, I'm feeling really tense or agitated or whatever it is. And I go, I know that's not true. Must be something coming up for healing. I know in this lifetime I've energized it as true for a long time, decades. So I didn't get to the course, but and maybe I will. So it's really about identifying. Earlier in that paragraph, it says, for the first line, forget not, when you feel a need to be defensive about anything, you have identified with yourself with the illusion. And that's the same with the feelings and with the thoughts and with anything but truth. And actually, you can identify with truth if that is who you are. So then that's a peaceful sensation, because it can't be. It's just when you're one with God. And so I'm just gonna go off topic again. Seems like a lot, but I've been watching. I watched this movie called The Sound of Metal. That I can't remember his name. The friend of the husband of the friend of Jennifer's is, and I'm like,
Paul Raci or Racy.
yes, Racy.
Racy, yes.
And I didn't get it at first. It took me several nights to watch it, but then I noticed at the end what he was doing is he was going into the silence, and letting go of meaning, or letting go of just everything, and just becoming aligned with God. I really recommend that movie, and to invite spirit with you to, if you choose to watch it. So yeah, I'll probably have more than a minute. All right, that's it. Bye.
Thanks, Carla. And that's what we'll be doing this afternoon after watching Water the Great Mystery. We'll be talking about that with spirit. And also, I wanted to mention, Carla, too, when you said something about agitation, the first thing I thought of when you said agitation is that's what a washing machine does to get our clothes clean. So when we're in agitation, we're just cleaning. Go ahead, Linda.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll really rip. I just love being in the material, you know, just this, we'll see. Number 2, consider what the ego wants defenses for. Always to justify what goes against the truth, flies in the face of reason, and makes no sense. Can this be justified? What can this be except an invitation to insanity, to save you from the truth? And what would you be saved from but what you fear? Belief in sin needs defense, and at an enormous cost. And then down in paragraph 4, I love the imagery, you know, that gets introduced into the course. How weak is fear? How little and how meaningless? How insignificant before the quiet strength of those whom love has joined. This is your enemy, a frightened mouse that would attack the universe. Chuckle, chuckle. How likely is it that it will succeed? Can it be difficult to disregard its feeble squeaks that tell of its omnipotence and would drown out the hymn of praise to its creator that every heart throughout the universe forever sings as one? That every heart throughout the universe sings as one. Which is the stronger? Is it the tiny mouse or everything that God created? You and your brother are not joined together by this mouse, but by the will of God. And can a mouse betray whom God has joined? If you but recognized how little stands between you and your awareness of your union with your brother, be not deceived. I can't top that. I just wanted to read. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Linda.
Mhm.
Suzanne, did you have something that you wanted to share? I saw your hand was raised a little bit ago.
It actually wasn't raised. I was clapping.
Oh, okay.
I was
They look
clapping
so
for the-
similar.
I was clapping for the washing machine analogy.
Okay, good. Thank you. Hamira.
Good morning, everyone. I need help today. In paragraph 5, it says, if you but recognize how little stands between you and your awareness of your union with your brother, be not deceived by the illusions it presents of size and thickness, weight and solidity, and firmness of foundation. Yet to the body's eyes, it looks like an enormous solid body, immovable as is a mountain. Yet within you is a force that no illusions can resist. Well, this tiny mouse within me sounds like a roaring lion this past couple of weeks. And I can't seem to get it to stop. Like, it took me so long to read this little section, and doing the lessons, like I can't hear it. The voice of the ego is so loud, and it's so hard not to believe that it's what's real, because I can't seem to quiet it down. And I'm trying to listen to YouTube spiritual videos or read a text, but it just seems to be so loud. And I don't know how this mad idea crept in again, but somewhere it did. And I guess there was some feelings of loneliness that then led to thoughts of my ex and all of that stuff come. And this is what scares me. It's like, when is this gonna really go away? Is it gonna really go away? Does it? Because it seems so like when I'm okay, it seems like, okay, I'm making progress, and then I'll hit like a wall like this where it seems so insurmountable. So this, although sounds beautiful, isn't my experience right now. That little mouse really doesn't seem like a little mouse, And I guess I just need some guidance. It's 'cause I'm like tired of suffering. And I don't know, I'm doing something to keep it going myself, and I don't know how I can just get out of this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, sweetie. Well, what I can say from my own experience is when I was feeling that, I felt like I was doing well. And then I was back in that space where everything feels like crap, and including my brain and my thoughts, and I can't get out of there. And one day I realized that my inner child that was throwing this tantrum was trying to get my attention. And she was saying, "You never asked me if I wanted to do this spiritual healing crap. You never asked me, and I don't want to do it. I don't feel safe with you." And I had to really look at that and say to myself, yeah, I have not been a safe space for myself. I've not. I've allowed myself to be a doormat. I've allowed myself to put myself last in my life. And I have not been a safe space for my inner child. So I had to work with that. And when I was working with that, when I was practicing saying no to people when they would ask me for stuff, when I was practicing doing the things that I know are good for me, ahead of doing the things that I would be doing for others, when I could do that inner child meditation 1 or 2 times a day, Dr. Hewlin's inner child meditation, when I could write my feelings, first from the space of the inner child and then from the space of the adult who is doing the things to learn how to love herself. I was able to come back into my right mind. But at the moment, your inner child is going, "You never even asked me if I wanted to do this crap. So I'm not going to cooperate with you." Does that make sense?
Yeah, I resonate with so much of what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. I do put everyone first before myself, and have always doing better than ever to take care of myself now, but that sounds true. And my little girl, and her little girl doesn't feel safe with me. I haven't been a safe place for her, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I still rock. I will just hold myself and just rock. When I'm feeling really vulnerable and like I don't have control, I just close my eyes, hug myself, and just rock back and forth, because that's what I would be doing with that child if that child was outside of me. And especially now when it's been so long since we've been able to hug each other in person. I mean, I'm mostly Italian. That's a thing. That's a very important thing for me. I want to hug everybody when I see them. Um, I do ask permission because I know some people don't feel safe with that, but it's challenging when you're used to being able to have that physical contact with other people and share that heart energy with them. So do that for yourself, with yourself, whatever ways you can think of that will help you to treat that inner child with the love and kindness that she is looking for.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, honey. Leslie.
Can you hear me? I'm on my cell phone instead of my iPad.
Yes,
Oops.
you're good.
Okay. All right. Hamir, I'm so sorry, honey. I'm sending you a big hug. What I wanted to share is, and this does relate to what Hamira said, I believe, is the first paragraph. How does one overcome illusions? Surely not by force or anger, nor by opposing them in any way. Merely by letting reason tell you that they contradict reality. They go against what must be true. The opposition comes from them and not reality. And this is the part I like a lot, is that reality opposes nothing. What merely is needs no defense and offers none. And to me, that just talks about non-resistance. So if you're feeling lonely, feel lonely. Try not to, and I know it's easier said than done, but reality is God. God is reality. Right now, you're divorced. That's the reality of it. You are alone. That's the reality of it in physical form. And if somehow you can wrap your arms around that and embrace it and not want it to be different than reality says it is, maybe you can find some peace with it. I just know that, what we resist persists. That's such a truth, whatever you want to call it, slogan or whatever, but what you resist persists.
Thank you so much, Marcy. Love you.
Love you too, and just try to love yourself, take care of yourself, reach out to people that want to be your prayer partners. You're not a bother. You're worth it. Thank you. Oh, and one more thing, I just want to tell everybody that I had my animal shelter when I saw the lady that I was, not my kind, loving self with. I just apologized to her. I said, I'm so sorry. It was me, not you. It was me, not you. She's like, no, it's okay. And we hugged, and then she showed me where the new carpet was. And I said, okay, you clean and I pat the cat. And she's like, okay, that's a plan. So I was just so grateful that I didn't worry about it. And I didn't, plan what I was going to say, because I just walked in there and said, okay, God, let's see what happens. And it was over in like 20 seconds. So I thought that was a miracle in itself.
That's beautiful, Leslie. Thank you so much. Yay. Suzanne.
Thank you. Yes, this time I really did have my hand up. Amira, I'm so sorry that you're having such a hard time. My heart really goes out to you. Sometimes it just gets so difficult, and we do feel so alone. As you were talking, I was remembering myself. It's years ago now. It's before I met my husband, after a horrible breakup. And I had been close to the little man's little girl. She was 6 years old, and I wasn't given the opportunity to say goodbye to her or anything. It was over so suddenly, and I was in such shock. And I'd been with him a while, and I remember feeling so incredibly alone. And I don't think at that time in my life I ever thought about inner child. No, I did not. And I didn't think about angels either. I don't know if I believed in them. I don't think I ever gave them any thought either. And I can remember lying on my bed, rocking back and forth and crying my eyes out. I was in so much pain. And then I had this inspiration, this thought to call on my guardian angel, whom I had never spoken to or thought about before, to come and lie down with me and show me that I wasn't alone. And I remember lying there, and I think I just went like this with my arms and pictured myself pulling angel wings around me. And then I just lay on the bed and rocked with this angel holding me. And it was incredibly comforting and healing. And from then on, I would do it every time I felt so alone or frightened. And it's also a way that we can call for help. And I hope that's helpful. It certainly was helpful for me. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Kathy.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. That was lovely. And you know, we'd all be lying if we didn't say we've all been in this spot.
Right.
Hannah. We have all had our dark nights of the soul events. It's part of the cleaning process. I swear, I believe it is, because knowing that where you're at is a good sign, because you're feeling. And we have to let this stuff move in us and through us. But mine was, I went outside. I went for a walk because I felt like then no one was going to bug me. I could be by myself and I could cry my eyes out. I walked and cried and until it was just done. I needed to do it. Then I used pen and paper and I sat down and I just did a brain dump. I brain dumped every negative, because it's like you got to get it out of you. It's an emotion that wants to come through. It isn't going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. It just needs to move. So I wrote it. I wrote all the bad words I could think of even. And then it's done. And then clean thoughts come in. But you have to do this work, whatever it looks like for each of us. And I love the angel wings there, Suzanne. That was lovely. I didn't think to do that, but I did go outside. There's something healing about nature. And I do that to this day. I'll go walk outside. I'm sorry, I swallowed wrong. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say is you do what feels right. You get yourself off your seat and you do something that is, well, I don't know the word to use, but you just move. Maybe it's moving. Maybe the rocking is the moving. Maybe the walking is the moving. Maybe feeling angel wings is the moving, but you do something to move, to allow it to move. And we don't say it's bad. It's not. It is just, we're human. And this is how we're cleaning ourselves. We have to experience these things to move forward. And I love that sentence in the last, I think it's paragraph 6, where it says, "For it is your unwillingness to overlook what seems to stand between you and your brother that makes it look impenetrable and defends the illusion." And I thought about that because I'm one of those that in most of my prayers and in most of my writing, I have to use the word willing. I have to be willing. And when I know I'm fighting, I know I'm unwilling. So, I mean, it's just a little insight there. So many ways. You've got so many goods. I love this room because we have so many, we've all been in different places at different times. We know what maybe works for each of us. And maybe it's like you get to pick out of the candy bowl what works. So that's it. Thank you very much. It's helpful to me to remind myself where I've been.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Hamira, I also just was thinking about like the title of this section is weakness and defensiveness. And we have such screwed up ideas of what that actually means. Because at least I know for myself, crying and showing my supposed vulnerability, I always viewed as weak. And that is so not true, that when I'm feeling vulnerable, if I share that vulnerability with somebody else, that shows my strength and my courage. And that also gives others permission to do the same. And while you were talking, I was thinking about, I watched Oprah Winfrey's Super Soul Sunday. It was a repeat, but I loved it anyway. Sheryl Sandberg, who is a CEO at Facebook, her husband died suddenly while they were on vacation in Mexico. And she had to come home and tell her children. And her 10-year-old was so grateful that she came home to tell them herself. And she was crying after speaking with her kids, talking to a family friend about, you know, within the next couple of weeks, there was like a father-son gathering that was happening, and she was beside herself as what to do with this. Her husband was supposed to go with her son to this, and he said to her, well, what would you like to do? What would you like? What is your desire? And she's like, I would like for my husband to be here to go with him. And he said, well, option A is not available, so let's kick the shit out of option B. And so that's what I want to say to you. Option A is not available. Having your husband back with you in the relationship that you had before he left is not an option. But you are kicking the shit out of option B, whether you realize it or not. You are coming through the feelings that you're having. You are acknowledging them. You are sharing them. That is giving permission to others to feel like they are safe to share as well. You are kicking the shit out of option B.
Linda, that made me laugh and cry at the same time.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Penelope.
Actually wasn't raising my hands. I was just applauding what you just said, Linda. But also, now you've given me this slot, I'll take you up on it. What also, and this, I don't want this to sound harsh when I say this, and I'm trying to think of an example in my life. At the moment, nothing's coming, but what I'm getting this real sense is that sometimes, we can hang on to wanting something to be like it was in the past. And actually, when we get that something, whatever that might be, we realize we no longer want it. And my sense is that oftentimes it's like when I'm still attached to how I felt it at that point in the past, and I'm no longer that person that's attaching to that part of the past. And so if I was, if it was to have that option of having, as Linda puts it, option A, it's not necessarily always what then we realize we actually want. And yeah, Hamir, I absolutely applaud your courage. Because as Linda said, it takes courage to reach out and to share. And in my family, particularly with my father and my sister, it was considered weak to show feelings and to express. And it is quite a challenge for me to express how I feel and to reach out. My go-to is to deal with it on my own. And it isn't always the best thing to do. So absolutely applaud your courage. So thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Penelope. Nancy Gale. Bring us some light, girl.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for the washing machine thing too. And something else you said, I forget who said, but about the tears, about the crying, and all of a sudden it clicked. It wasn't safe for me to cry. I was always punished. I mean, literally, it wasn't safe for me to cry. And the other thing that came, when you stopped reading Leslie, or no, whoever, the 6, the last sentence, for it is your unwillingness to overlook what seems to stand between you and your brother that makes it look impenetrable and defends the illusion of its immovability. You stop short of that. It's like, it seems immovable. It's like this rock, this mountain that you can't move. It's, you know, it's, and it's like, and then it's like, it's like fear, what is it? Whatever it says in here, which I read, I've got the bigger version in it instead of the small page. What is it, 5? Within you is a force that no illusions can resist. In other words, which is the you know, the love, God's love. That's the force that's in you, and no illusion can stand up against it. They all fall, because it's like, I'm just using the words. Somewhere in here it also says about no, that was in the meditation. Sorry, it's all running together here. That love flows through you like the river of life does, and it flows through. That's in the meditation. That's in the I am willing, whatever. That I was reading all those last night, and it was like, oh, it flows through me. The river of life flows through me. It's like, you know, just goes right through. And okay, I can go with that. But then I had this revelation anyway. So I don't know if that helps. It really helped me. And it says, how weak is fear? How little and how meaningless? How insignificant before the quiet strength of those whom love has joined. Love is quiet. Its strength is in its quietness, its gentleness. It's not a force that beats you at you or anything like that. It's just this quiet, gentle flowing through. It's like, and your enemy is that fighting little mouse. It's like, okay. And I think I'm done because I haven't got the other things settled in my mind. So I'll come back later if I can remember it.
All right. Thanks, Nancy Gale. I know, and I thought it was so cool because today is May the 4th. And so, you know, people talk about May the 4th be with you. And I'm saying, may the course be with you, because I've seen that so many times. So, but within you is a force that no illusion can resist. Yes. Yes. Penelope.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy Gale, for that part that we were just reading about the immovability or immovable, and particularly that part about be not deceived by the illusions the illusion it presents of size and thickness, weight, solidity, and firmness of foundation. It's so rewarding when we get these breakthroughs. And I mean, I had a wonderful breakthrough this past week with something that, you know, it's like I've struggled with it for the best part of like almost 30 years. And I've talked about it in this group before, the relationship with my sister. And when she just stopped having anything to do with me, and I had never could find out why. And I eventually made the decision that I didn't want to, even if it had been a possibility to have the relationship, I wouldn't want the relationship, which I guess this is a good example of what I was talking about, Hamira, a little while back. And so I decided to learn to love her from afar. And I think the last time in this group I spoke about it, I hadn't got to that place of loving her from afar, and I'm still not at that complete place yet. But the breakthrough that I did have was because I was so attached to this hurt that I felt of the way she'd she'd behaved towards me, and the many years prior to her stopping speaking to me, when, you know, years of bullying and abuse, etc. And it was actually working with the divine experiment that assisted me to see it. And then some other work, and, you know, quite a few of us have been in the Stop Playing Small retreat. So it's been a combination of things that brought me to this place. But what I realized was that in my family, oftentimes I was blamed for everything. And so that blame for me had turned into this, which I didn't realize until I had this insight that I'm talking about, that it turned into a belief that it's all my fault. And so I viewed the situation with my sister as being all my fault. And what I then realized was the reason why I was stuck in this hurt was because I perceived it as all my fault. So the hurt that I was believing was attached to the way my sister had been with me and how she ended the relationship actually was nothing to do with that. It was the attachment to this belief that was creating the hurt. And it's an example, and many of us have these examples, that it's the persistence that pays off, the constant persistence, but in a way, when we have that persistence, but with non-attachment to how it's going to transpire, what the outcome is going to be. Linda's shared a beautiful image in another of the groups, which I think is a wonderful one. Linda might want to share it in this group. You know, it's like when we chip away, then the masterpiece is created. And there's many things I could say. It's like, it's about not giving up, but it's about also being loving and kind to ourselves when we go back down into those places of struggling about the same thing, and not having those expectations that we should have healed it by now, or because we've had periods of time when we felt more comfortable with it, or we felt more peaceful with it, or we felt more at ease with it. That doesn't necessarily mean to say, as Hamira, you're discovering it, that we've actually healed it. And it's another opportunity to have patience, to be self-loving, to be self-kind. And so it's like, Carla says this many, many times about that there's opportunities in everything. And it's just about grabbing the opportunities, but doing it with loving kindness to ourselves. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Penelope. Nancy Gale.
That was perfect, Penelope. What you said, persistence, what did you say? The persistence, can you repeat that piece? The persistence of believing. That's what I've been doing with my brother. Exactly. Can you say it again? The persistence to go ahead.
I would if I could remember what I'd said.
Something about the persistence of the
Somebody
way.
help me out. Somebody will be able to help me out.
Of the memory of the persistence of the belief that.
It was the chipping away. It's Carol. I'm not there. I'm there, but I'm not there. It was the chipping away. Remember, Penelope? You said chipping away. Keep on doing it. No matter how many times it comes up, chip away at it, and you're creating a masterpiece.
You're chipping away. You're persistently chipping away the stuff you don't want.
Right.
Another way, Nancy Gale, would be, it's in a sense, it's like chipping away at the illusion.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that's probably what I didn't say that. I mean, the other thing is you can listen to the recording, but I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly what words I used.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
I'm glad that it was helpful, though.
Very helpful. Thank you. Whoops.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy Gale. Robin.
Hi, everyone. Homera, I do. I just love your courage. And what came up for me is that thought that what we've learned or what we think is happening is that the ego sees your devotion. The ego sees that you are determined. Ego sees that you are on your way to another way of seeing and being in the world. And so it's going to try to kick your butt. And since we're getting kind of, I don't know, out there with our words, we'll just go for it. But I mean, I hope that, and I feel like in my own experiences that there's more of an idea of, I think I've let it go, but then it comes back. But it's not back as strong as it used to be. And there's this idea in A Course in Miracles that things are disappearing. And so it's not like it's just gone. And so there is a process of it disappearing. So that's. And the other thing that just popped up too is when Carla talks about when we are trying to clean things out and we have a hose, that the first thing that has to get cleaned out is the inside of the hose. So just that little metaphor, I guess it's in my pocket now, Carla. I think about that. So I don't know if any of that was helpful, but you are such a gift to all of us. I think we're all of us a gift to each other. And what you bring to us is this lovely oneness of feeling your heart and where you are, and it reminding us of where we may have come from. So I just have so much gratitude for your gift to us and sharing so deeply, and hope that somehow I can step up to that at some time. I also wanted to bring up in paragraph 3, sentence 8, God rest with you in quiet, undefended and wholly undefending. Well, of course, everyone knows we love the word quiet, and we know that they're in the reality. That's where we can take a step towards that connection, is with the quiet. But I also got from that little phrase, I'm always, the deep desire of my heart is to go to that quiet space and empty myself and get to that place of stillness where I know I am with God. But this puts it's like me resting in God. And that little phrase is like, God is resting with me. And of course, there's the oneness again. And it's just a little teeny shift that just brought it together. Because I always think about, I have to make some effort and be willing to rest in God. And here's God is already waiting and resting with me. So that was really a sweet little idea to come. And the other part is in that end of that sentence, for in this quiet state alone is strength and power. And this idea of quiet is, I think there's just a deepening of learning about the quiet, the silence, the stillness, and the resting. And it has to do with truly letting go. So there's this deeper desire to know what that really looks like. Because I mean, I can let go all day long and then I can still end up not really letting go. So I think there's this calling us to really get quiet and really let go in the quietness and let God take care of the future. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. There you
Rob,
go.
I just want to say what you said touched me so deeply. It's like water to a thirsty man. You know, that's how your words felt to me. So I want you to know that it touched me deeply, and I'm ever so grateful for every single one of you in this group and how much support I get from each and every one of you. I truly love all of you. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, we love you too. And thank you, Robin. So beautifully said. And I just, when you were talking about like letting go, like sometimes it feels like letting go is like, no, we don't want to let go. We don't want to let go. But when we let go, it's like, ah, it's like freedom. Yeah. Thank you. Melita.
Yeah, I love that, Robin. The quiet feels like surrender to me. To just surrender, not have all these designs on everything, but to surrender is so beautiful. I wanted to talk to Humera, or just I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you. And I remember when I was really sick and I would get better. When I started getting better, I was so excited, and then I'd have a dip and I'd get sick. You know, I'd have like I was devastated. I mean, just I would be so in the dark depths of hell. I mean, I just felt horrible. And then I'd get a little better again. Yay. And then I'd get sick again. You know, and it was just horribly painful, more painful to dip and go back up, you know, rather than just being sick. I could just accept that. But once I'd get better and anyway, that was so horrible. And then I just started realizing it's going to pass. You know, I'm going to get better again. And I'm just going to love myself through this shitty part, you know, when it's so awful and I feel horrible. I know it's going to pass, and I'm just going to love myself, even if I feel miserable about myself, and I'm just going to let it be what it is. And then I feel better again. And it's like, okay. And then come again, and I go, and then I got a little more like, okay, I know it's going to pass. You know, I don't have to feel so bad because and then I just, you know what I mean? And it was like, oh, less times of getting worse. So anyway, I just wanted to share that you know what that feels like once you feel like you're better, and then you go back down, like, oh, it's so painful because you feel like you're past that, you know, but you know, that's everything's for our highest and best, right? So I mean, and it really helped to just really love myself anyway. Okay, I know this is going to suck. I'm going to be really, you know, whatever. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and I just adore you and love you so much. So
Melita, I love you too. I'm so grateful for like friendship that has developed as a result of being prayer partners. And I relate exactly, like, yeah, you know, it was bad when it was dark, but then when you get glimpses of, oh, I'm better, I'm really feeling it, and then and like, oh shit, I'm here again, you know. And so that's really hard for me. And when you share, like, just love yourself through that dark phase, that down phase, that's really helpful, because you're sharing your own personal experience with me. And you know, when you and I first started like doing the prayers together, and we didn't know each other, and it's like it's been not that long, and yet I feel like I know you so well now, and you know me, and not so much like details about each other's lives, although we know a little bit about that, but more like each other's soul. And it's such a beautiful feeling. I just love this program that we're in, and Jennifer Hadley and this group, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
yeah, me too. Thank you. And just remember, it'll pass. It'll pass. It'll pass. Thank you.
Yep, it's a roller coaster ride, and we got on it because we wanted to have fun. What were we thinking? Anybody want to have a last share before we close out today? Carla.
I don't know what, I think it was when Robin was reading, sorry, chapter in paragraph 3. But I really enjoy short phrases because the long ones it's too, I get lost in them. But in paragraph 3, line 10, love rests in certainty. Now, only uncertainty can be defensive. All uncertainty is doubt about yourself. So to just love the doubt, love, even that you're resting in the certainty. Even and one of my girlfriends, and I don't think she's even form anymore, but she said one sentence that really helped me a lot. I have compassion for my confusion. That too is love. Love is the healer. Love, I'm allowing more to arise, to be released, and with acceptance and love. Even when I think it's all, I've finished it and more of whatever arises, let it come. Let it come. I don't know how many years, how many lifetimes are in this, and it was most of my life in this life. I resisted. This course is a required course, not this course, the course, although that can be one. What course is? Life. Life is the course. You're offered everything in each experience, opportunities. And it doesn't matter if we miss it, if we resist it, if whatever we choose. We're not divine because of what we do. We're that way because that is how we were created by our creator. Nothing we can do. I stomped that. I tried to get rid of that little ember of love. I could not do it. I stopped and stopped and stopped. And it's funny, I don't remember saying the word agitation. Linda, I guess Spirit did, and you took it. Thank you for going with it. But love, accept. So thanks.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you, everybody. So for next week, we're going to finish off chapter 22, section 6, the light of the holy relationship. All right, so I'm going to read from my Pathways of Light lesson insights, lesson 124 today. Let me remember I am one with God. Tripping over my own lips today. As I did today's exercise, it was interesting to observe the ways my resistance played out. As I focused on the idea that I am one with God, I began to experience a hint, like being on the fringes of what it would feel like being one with God. It felt very calm, free from doubt, and above all, loving. It was like being in love without limiting that love to one special person. It was very safe. I would experience that hint of that feeling, and then I would realize that my thoughts had wandered off to something in my physical world experience. It was amazing the trivial things that would get my attention, and I would follow the thought rather than stay with that calm, peaceful, certain, strong, and loving feeling that I was experiencing with remembering I am one with God. Things like thinking about a movie or a television show I had seen, or thinking of something I needed to do or was planning for some time in the future. By the time I realized where my thoughts were, I was well into the identification with this world once again. So I would bring myself back and focus once more on remembering I am one with God. Again, I would begin to sense a hint of what it would feel like to remember this. And I would discover again that my mind had followed some meaningless thread of images associated with this world. I kept bringing myself back, repeating the cycle several times. I see that ego is quickly bored by peace and unity and freedom from conflict. I see that my habitual pattern is to be preoccupied with this world and all of its images. This is not something to feel guilty about, but it is certainly clear that much practice is needed in another way of being and thinking. When I think of the dedication to practice that a professional musician or athlete has, and think about what my life would be like if I maintained that level of dedication throughout my day to remembering I am one with God, my life experience would change profoundly. I am grateful for the exercises in the workbook that provide the means for me to move in this direction. My dedication to applying the principles from the course in my life is stronger than ever. Yet there is plenty of room for more. So I will keep practicing. I have tasted the certainty, the peace, the happiness, and love that is waiting for my acceptance. I am willing to keep practicing, to open my mind further toward full acceptance of God's gifts. In gratitude, I will remember I am one with God, along with all my brothers. This lesson guides me to open my mind to love's presence. This lesson guides me to practice letting my true identity, love's presence, come to the forefront of my mind. This allows me to feel the peace of God. It allows me to be aware of what is truly meaningful and what is real behind the false mask of this world. When I am willing to look with the Holy Spirit, God is always there in every person, in every situation, waiting to be recognized. I am seeing how important this lesson is in my practice of remembering the truth. When I really think about it, what could be more important than this? God is always in my mind because I am one with God. God's voice is always there to guide me as I am willing to open to its loving presence. As I gradually let the Holy Spirit take over, writing the script of my life, I notice that things get easier, smoother, more relaxed. My life becomes more simplified, and I find myself less inclined to get involved with meaningless pursuits that take time away from opening to God and listening to his voice. As the Holy Spirit is allowed to take over more and more, distractions from what is truly important take less and less of my time. I want more and more to be aware of God's peace and extend God's peace in this world. It becomes a higher priority to let the Holy Spirit make all my decisions. A feeling of gentleness and well-being gradually takes over, and becoming more consistent in my state of mind. I am more and more willing to be quiet and listen for the Holy Spirit's inspiration. The ego's thoughts seem less and less attractive. Its detours seen more clearly for what they are. I see that today's lesson is at the core of all awakening to reality. The whole sonship is one with God. The world of separation is meaningless. Do I want love or another lesson in love? Do I want peace or conflict? Each day I am making my choices with every thought I continue to hold in my mind. Today's lesson is a practice of opening me further and further into the recognition that I am one with God. God is always in my mind, waiting for my return. Giving time to God is the most important thing I could do. What a happy thing to practice. Remembering I am one with God all through the day. How fortunate we all are to have this wonderful help on our journey of returning to the truth. One with God. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blessings.
See you all
Thank
next week.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.